What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We're here. We're doing it. We're gonna do one more series, the last series before the finals. We're gonna see who is facing against Scan. Will it be the Korean Slayer Kokanee, or will it be the Gosu Terran player Defjam? The old school Gosu versus the old school all the way to the new school Gosu. Kokanee, the legend of StarCraft, fastest map possible, been playing since day one. Versus Defjam, used to be a top Gosu, comes back, been chilling, doesn't play the most, but he has a Gosu background in fastest. We'll see exactly how this series goes. We just saw Scan just destroy JH, like JH hasn't been a previous champion several times before, and we're going to see who is going to have that large task of facing off versus Scan. We do have Kokanee as a Terran player, and he is going to be directly on top of Defjam here, so that's going to be a little unfortunate for Defjam, as he does have the mismatch and spot disadvantage here. You never want a Terran on top of you, as they can just spot abuse you so badly here. We'll see if the game gets to that point, or if we'll see some Gosu speed Zergling destroying, or we'll see some Gosu Marine and an SCV pull. So many options here. We'll just have to wait and see as the first couple of minutes get underway here. We do have that hatchery, spawning pool hatchery build. First scout going to be done after that barracks is completed, and a gas depot build is going to be done here. That SCV is going to go take a little bit of a stroll through the middle of the map. It is going to spot that Overlord. I don't know if he saw that or not. I believe he did, maybe not. Oh god, I keep misclicking that. I believe he did see that Overlord, as he is not going all the way into the choke here. Just going to, or not all the way to the middle. I was going to just check the choke before backing out here. Our Terran or Zerg player, I'm going to get that single sunken up with a couple of Zerglings going to be popping out. This Overlord almost going to get destroyed by those Marines, just going to escape, which is going to save his life there. You do not want to get supply stuck this early in these kind of positions. You need every advantage that you can get here. A couple of Zerglings are going to slip in for our Zerg player, and he is going to get a complete scout off here. One of the few things that you can take advantage of here. I'm going to get actually an SCV too, so very well done here. Getting more done than usual with those couple of Zerglings here. These Zerglings are actually going to escape too, and possibly scout that factory too, I believe. Let's just check for a second. Yeah, I believe he definitely got a vision of that factory, so he's going to see the factory inside the base. Kokanee, famous for building his factories out in the middle. He basically invented that build. Very quick layer for Defjam. Defjam looks like he's going to go for some very quick lurkers, possible immutable. I don't think so with this many hatcheries. Usually it's just like a 3 or 4 hatchery muta build. Looks like it's going to be some kind of lurker build here for the Defjam. Double factory for Kokanee. So Kokanee's going to go for that very powerful push here. I believe he's going to get a third gas here, going to delay that academy and really get those tanks out there at ASAP. Going to get that engineering bay to get a scout off. He has to have some marines out on the map. Going to make sure that the Thunkins don't get too far out here for him. And yeah, it's going to be a classic Kokanee double factory tank push. We'll see how Defjam goes about defending this. He does have a very quick layer. I don't see a Hydra's dead out, so maybe this is a muta build. Not going to be completely sure until that layer finishes. Usually you want the layer and the Hydra's dead to finish at the same time. But yeah, that is going to be a Spire build, as I would assume be with that timings of all that stuff. The Mutalisk tech can be very powerful versus this sort of build here, as you don't typically have medics quite as quickly or any kind of anti-air. You're really focusing on just marine and tank and trying to break down that choke. This engineering bay, luckily for Kokanee, is going to scout and also come to float to the middle here. Sometimes people build 2 factories, one to scout, and then one to also get some vision on the choke so your tanks can get maximum range here. It is going to float in here to see that Hydra Den and possibly, oh, it's definitely going to see that Spire too. We do see 4 hatcheries down. He has only committed to 4 sunkets, but this first tank is out. Turret is down just in case some lurkers do try to advance too quickly. Going to get a good scout off here. He does have 4 gas. Looks like he's pulling it up in some larvas here. And Overlord is going to complete. He's probably going to get a bunch of mutas out here. We'll see how well Defjam's micro is. Do have that starport and science facility back at home. That academy coming up now to get those medics out here. But he is really focusing on those siege tanks to really pressure that Zerg, force him to use those larvas to build drones and sunkens. He did pile up a lot of larvae to get those mutas up, so we're going to see some very quick mutas for Defjam. So far, Kokanee has kept keep everything alive. Defjam does have a worker lead, and he's not that far behind on supply. So, Defjam definitely being very ghostly here. This mutas build, depending on how well his micro is, could catch Kokanee off guard. Mutas are going to have to use that Korean micro to kill that, and so far so good. Doesn't look like he has an Overlord in his queue quite yet here. Going to take some damage versus these mutas. These tanks so quick out here. Going to start destroying this sunken. These mutas are coming in here for a counterattack. A lot of Marines are staying back at home, as he didn't have them queued anywhere. They were just spawning, and he was producing them non-stop here. So these mutas are going to come back to try to defend here, as these numbers continue to add up. He does have he's tied up in drones here. So if these mutas can be cost efficient, he's going to be in a great position to do some damage to Kokanee. Taking out all those Marines now. Just a turret and a couple of those reinforcement Marines back here. It is going to force them to back up here. He is going to have to build some more drones and some more sunken colonies here. Again, with his high drone count right now, I would not be upset if he pulled some of these drones out just to build some sunken colonies, because he does need them to survive. He just totally relying on mutas 100% in this build to defend against this. And right now he is unfortunately focusing on these tanks. He does not want them to get into his drone line. I guess that is a pretty good idea. Going to pick these drones or these tanks off before they can siege up here and take out any of his drones. He wants to keep all these drones alive. All those tanks are going to go down. A couple of mutas spawning right into those Marines and are going to get taken out. But it looks like the Marines, with the combination of these links, is going to be enough to take out that and defend this attack. So very nicely done by Defjam. It is going to hold on. I just had to alt-tab there and quickly check, make sure that I'm recording, because I'm so paranoid that it's going to happen again. Streamlabs is just going to F me up in the butt and make me recast another entire series. We do see Kokanee with an additional barracks here, and his vessel back behind his minerals. These Marines these mutas and Zerglings are now going to be entering the Terran base and start picking off these factories. These factories are a bit out of range. We do have the medics coming out now with Marines. A lot of Marines here. Looks like Defjam is going to have to transition. Unfortunately for him, he did not build any sunkens in the creep that was up at the front of his choke here. So he's going to have to rely on mutas and Zerglings. A lot of mutas getting picked off there. Not very good for Kokanee, or not for Defjam. He does need to make sure they work together, but it looks like he may just have enough to pick off everything. This is an intensely close battle here. But it looks like the Marines spawning with these medics, keeping them alive, may just be enough, just barely just enough here. Going to lift off these factories to try to keep it alive. Defjam going to pick it off. He does have a couple of lurkers, just building the lurkers here. And Eradicate going down at home, who's going to pick off a lot of 19 drones are going to be taken out. The vessel does come back just in time to pick up these vessels, so it's really back and forth right now. The Zerg has hardly any economy, but does he just have enough to kill the Terran here? One Marine in that bunker. The lurkers are moving forward. If they are able to take out the SPVs, it could be a close game here. Does look like there may be too much, and Kokanee is actually going to GG out, and Defjam is going to take game number 1. Oh my goodness, that was a quick and intense battle there. And Erad does go down to take out 17 drones, but he does not have enough at home to defend versus these lurkers, mutas, and links. So very nicely job by Defjam, pulling off a gosu build there, and he's going to actually take a 1-0 lead versus the Korean Slayer Kokanee in very gosu fashion. Very impressive stuff here by Mr. Defjam. Is going to defeat Kokanee, going to win with the very very percentage weak Zerg, and going to take a 1-0 lead and look to see if he can reach those finals in this gosu semifinals matchup. Yeah, GG. See you in game number 2. We are in game number 2. Kokanee going to get his Protoss, and Defjam going to be Zerg once again. Able to win that first game Zerg versus Terran in a very nicely calculated game with those mutas. He didn't have the overlords micring like crazy low money style, but he did just have enough macro to be able to get the good number of mutas to be able to stop that very scary push by Kokanee. Kokanee's Protoss is incredibly strong. He rarely loses with it. He has some crazy win percentage with Protoss. This guy does not lose very often with Protoss. He knows all of the right builds. He knows how to throw off his opponent. He knows exactly what to do in most situations. And yeah, he has a scary, scary Protoss. But as we've seen in that last game, Defjam Zerg, his Terran is not bad at all. His Protoss obviously very strong, but his other matchups are very powerful here. We do see an Overlord before the spawning pool, so he is going to have a little bit of a delayed spawning pool. We'll see how much that affects his opening here. That would be a little bit scary versus a mid build, but Kokanee going for a double gateway, double pylon at home kind of build here. A little bit safe. I'm not sure exactly what his plan is yet. I imagine it's going to be a 4-gate. Yeah, it does look like it is going to be a 4-gate open. Kokanee does like to do this to keep his opponents on his toes for later games when he can do a little bit more greedy builds. Getting that 4-gate is going to be able to apply a lot of pressure. He's going to have a lot of zealots quick, and luckily for him, he is up against a mid Zerg here. So I imagine this 4-gateway pressure is going to be something that has to be scouted in order to defend it properly. Defjam just going for a single drone here, as he hasn't been scouted yet. Usually when you're scouted, you have to kind of throw down 2 drones here, especially if you're scouted by a probe. But not going to be the case here. Going to save that 1 additional drone and have some extra mining here. We do see another drone now coming up here, Survey being spawned up in first frontal hatchery here. The hatchery back at home. I think this drone is going to build another hatchery. Trying to be as greedy as you can until you're scouted here. 2 Zerglings here. Another round of just drones being built here. These 2 Zerglings are going to split up and try to scout out his opponent. Just zealots being produced here by Kokanee. No forge, no nothing else. You don't really need defense when you're just massing up zealots. All of these look like they are rallied at his choke here. So he is looking to apply as much pressure as possible. And you can see how powerful this 4-gate is here. You can see 38 supply to 14 supply here. There is going to be a significant advantage here, and he does manage to find his Zerg opponent very quickly. It's going to start poking away at these sunken colonies before the rest of the creep colonies can spawn into sunken colonies. Going to get maximum efficient damage done here and really make the Zerg work here to continue to maintain his choke here. This choke at the middle location are a lot more difficult to hold, and these zealots are just rallying in here, getting 1 gas now as he continues to produce 4 zealots at a time here, and these zealots are trying to find their way into this Zerg base. There is no sunken colonies before, forcing the Zerg to not only reproduce sunken colonies but mass up Zerglings instead of drones. He looks like he may have enough Zerglings to kill off these these Zerglings, but the Protoss can continue to produce probes while producing zealots, while the Zerg is forced to make Zerglings instead of drones, which is going to give the Protoss an advantage. Now that he has forced so many Zerglings, and the Zerg hasn't had a scout off, so he's going to have to rebuild these sunken colonies. The Kokanee is going to take this opportunity to throw down his second Nexus and a Cybernetics core here. He's going to stop 1 round of Zealots while he does get his macro up here. We'll see exactly what he wants to throw down here, since he has stopped Zealot production right at the moment here. He does have 2 probes out on the map here. 1 pylon over in quite an interesting location. on this side here. It's just the first gas being started by Defjam. And Overlord is going to get in here and scout exactly what's going on. Going to see possibly that robotics facility, as I don't see any anti-air or any cannons here getting thrown up here, and the Citadel of Dune. So it looks like Kokanee is going to go right into that Storm Drop tech. Going to try to get those High Templar drops out to just destroy that Zerg economy. But Defjam has been producing drones non-stop. I'm gonna get an Evo chamber up here to help block and screw with the AI of those zealots if they're not target attacking. Also, it's like the depot wall here. Just gonna give some extra tanking to those sunken colonies and buy him some more time to reinforce here. Two more additional gateways being thrown down. The Dragoon is going to be produced to try to kill this Overlord, who is going to get a scout off at exactly the robotic support bay timing and the Templar of Archive timing. So he's going to have an idea of exactly when the drops are going to come off. Zergling's trying to pick off these zealots here. Going to not overcommit, as he does want some reinforcement to make sure that no zealots can just do a massive run by. Throwing down some sunken colonies at home. I imagine they're all going to be sunken colonies. His lair has started. He does have a Hydra stand out. Looks like he's going to go for lurkers to try to continue to hold on here. No Templar of Archives actually quite yet, unless I'm missing it. But no, I don't believe the Templar Archive just thrown down now. So he is going to go for fairly quick High Templar drops here. The first shuttle is out, which I imagine he's going to use to potentially drop some zealots, but by the looks of it, it looks like he's just going to try to go in here and scout the timing of the tech and see exactly what the Defjam is doing. Defjam has just been massing drones right now, trying to get his economy going, and building lots of sunken colonies for possible Reaver Zealot drops, all that fun stuff here. Not going to have to go too crazy on this empty shuttle here. Again, he doesn't know that it's empty, but he is assuming that it is, as he did not even attempt to pull those drones. He's going to try to use these couple of Hydras that are popped out to defend that. Kokanee, though, is going to get a full scout off and see exactly what he is up against. Going to see how many Sunkens are at the choke, how many hatcheries he has, how much gas he has, all that good stuff. Going to get all the information he needs to be able to plan his attack accordingly. Does have the defense for Protoss ground units, the speed for the shuttles, and the storm for those High Templars. So getting all of that good tech up. Going to have 2 High Templars, 2 Zealots into this double dropship, and this second dropship is going to be something that Defjam needs to react to. He did a good job calling Kokanee's bluff on that first drop. We'll see how well he does versus the second drop. Looks like it's going to be a strong Zealot speed upgrade. Oh, I guess he does have double upgrades and Dragoon range upgrades. So he is going to try to be massing against this choke. Probably going to wait for the drop upgrade to finish. Going to wait for that storm upgrade to finish. He needs all of his upgrades to finish before this can be effective. His storm is finished now, so he can go in whenever he does feel it is necessary. Looks like the time is now going to come in from this very nice location where it's going to be hard for Hydra's to predict that. Hydra's coming in here, targeting the proper dropship. One dropship does drop, going to storm in a very gosu spot and get lots of drone kills here. Unfortunately, I did not see exactly the drone count before that storm went down, but very nicely done storming that path where those High Templars were running away here. Going to get the kills that he needs. You can see he's almost tripled the worker count now, and he just has to continue to drop. He's going to try to mass up while killing the drone so he can start applying some pressure. Probably waiting for a good Dragoon count to pick off these chambers so his zealots aren't being too mental. Another drop coming in here. He's at 37 drones here. A nice pull here from the side. Gonna kill 5 drones there. Still not bad at all here. Of course, they're trying to get some damage done there as it sacrifices its life to hurt that poor little Overlord here. Kokanee looks like he is starting to get some map control outside of the Zerg, just to also and build some additional robotics facilities if the game does so go that long, massing up his gateway count at home and continuing to build units while he drops the Zerg player. Very scary for the Zerg player, as that one drop did a lot of damage here. Pretty good recovery though, back up to 41 drones, getting those Scourge and Hydras right now. Just trying to mass off of these 4 hatcheries to establish himself and get his bank going so he can start massing up more hatcheries and eventually do a counter attack. The drop coming in now, he is at 46 drones. Going to kill 6 more drones there and a Hydralisk. So again, a good pull by Defjam, not taking significant losses. But we do see an observatory and a robotics facility out here at the front here. Another drop being loaded up, and he is nearly max. So I feel like he may attack while dropping this time around. He does have that hurt shuttle from the very beginning, just chilling there. He must have forgot about it. He is up to 192 APM, so he is focusing a lot. These Dragoons going to come out here, pick off these evil chambers, so the Zealots can have a little bit more have a little bit more of a better time against these Sun Colonies. Going to be able to surround them a little bit more here. This drop just ready and waiting for the for its moment. The moment is now going to go in here. 58 drones right now. Going to drop in that path that the drones like to go. Going to actually just kill 4 drones. Another nice pull from the gas, and not going to go in that pathway of those Hydras. So very good job by Defjam here. Going to be able to defend that nicely. More Sunkens being thrown up and a couple of cannons being thrown here to take out those evil chambers. And yeah, we do just have that mass continuing to go. Kokanee is maxed out here, so he probably needs to start applying some pressure ASAP to make sure that the Zerg can establish himself here. The unit's coming in now, one single lurker. There is an observer here to take care of it. That Spore is trying to push it back here. Another drop coming in here for Kokanee. Going to be dropping non-stop while applying pressure, and it's going to be really up to the Zerg to defend all of these drops, because if he takes one bad hit, it could just be GG that quickly, no matter how well you play. You're always vulnerable, especially if your bank is low. It's not the lowest, but he's going to come in here now and going to be able to storm and take out nearly all of all of Defjam's drones while Defjam is microing up here, and that is actually going to be GG. He's not even going to bother trying to rebuild that, as he knows how significant that is if you just don't pull one time here. And Kokanee going to show the power of that mass drop storm build with his Protoss yet again getting another victory. I don't even know if we've seen his Protoss lose before. And he is going to get a W in fairly quick fashion versus the Zerg, who he hasn't quite broken yet, but he did get that huge drop off. Defjam going to give up maybe a little bit too early, but he knows that those drops are never going to stop, and he's just going to go ahead and GG out of that and go into game number 3. We are tied 1-1. I believe this is also a best of 7. Scan and JH played a best of 7, even though I was told only the finals was best of 7. We'll see if Kokanee and BRB are going to play best of 7 or best of 5. 1-1 right now, though. We're jumping to game number 3. Game number 3. And Kokanee going to be the Terran versus Defjam's Protoss. So we have not seen Defjam's Protoss very much, if I do recall, so it will be interesting to see. Unfortunately for him, he is directly underneath a Terran player, so he is going to be vulnerable to the eventual nuke harass and the tank over the ledge, which is going to be deadly if this game does get into the late game. So I feel like it's really going to be up to Defjam to get some damage done. And luckily for him, he is going to go for a mid build, and it isn't too far from that Terran base. Probably wouldn't be bad if he just did it outside of his choke, but Defjam doesn't know where his opponent is, so he is just going to go more in the middle position here. Probably going to throw down at least 2 barracks. We'll see if he waits to throw down that third, or if he's going to continue to scout and get that second probe out to build the third. He is going to get that second probe out to build the third while he continues to scout his opponent. Kokanee going for those standard 2 racks. I imagine he will throw down his third racks before he begins to get his scout on. The probe unable to find his opponent, and you do want to find your opponent ASAP when you are doing a mid build. He is going to throw, he is actually going to locate his opponent in that final location here, or in that third location that he's actually scouting, while that second probe does get that third gateway up here. Zealot production is going to start ASAP, and he is going to be able to start pressuring Kokanee. Kokanee very good at defending these kind of builds, as he has faced it probably 10 to 20,000 times. Defjam, though, is going to build a very frontal pylon here, really going to try to get some cannons established. Going to be countered by a bunker marine coming out here to scout any kind of sneaky shenanigans here. Hasn't quite scouted the bottom yet. 2 probes are going to get down here while this marine chases back this probe here. The zealots who are rallied up here going to start being able to reinforce. This bunker may be in range of this pylon. It will be interesting to see if they are in range. It looks like it will be in range, but even without it being in range, he is going to be able to have a runaway plan here. And if the zealots do try to approach, he will be able to run into that bunker here, nearly taking out that pylon. He does have 2 probes out here. These marines are going to move up and kill that 1 probe, which is a big time move so far. 0 cannons have started. He does need to start throwing down some cannons, because these zealots do need some reinforcements as these marine numbers are continuing to grow. Not supply stucking in this both pylon, or the 1 pylon does go down here. 1 zealot also going to be taken down here. Defjam does have to be careful, as he has not taken out a single marine yet, and 2 of his zealots have dropped. 3 zealots down, 1 marine. So 3 zealots for 1 marine is not the trade that you want. And yeah, Kokanee, it looks like he's going to make quick work of this potential cannon rush here. Luckily for him, no cannons were down below, as he didn't quite scout that, but not the biggest deal. Does have his factory going up back at home, and his academy has started, so he has successfully defended that. Will be able to establish his choke and possibly do some counter pressure here. Depending on the zealot micro, there is no cannons back at home. He is going to be vulnerable, but doesn't overcommit. Once again, Kokanee is going to back up, build a bunker and some depots at home, and get his choke established. Going to run back, though. He doesn't want to really have a big battle until his medics are out. The academy isn't quite done yet, as he's just making sure he's not supply stuck and continuing to build marines. Now Defjam is going to try to establish some cannons at the choke, which I feel like he should have done. When you see a couple of the other Koreans, they build 1 aggressive one and then 1 safety one. Defjam decided against that, but his zealots are doing some great damage here, picking off a lot of these marines as they run back here. Has a pretty good number of zealots, and not overcommitting to keeping them alive as much as possible. He did lose that first fight, but he looks like he's doing pretty good on that second fight. Another pylon. Still no cannons have been established, no gas or anything. He's just producing from 5 gateways. He did add 2 additional gateways, so he is going very heavy zealot pressure here. Going to pick off a lot of marines and a couple of SUVs, but still no cannons back at his choke. If he just had a couple of cannons at his at the choke here of the Terran player, I'd feel a lot better. He is trying to get some cannons back in the base here. This could be deadly, using these marines to defend it. Doesn't want to overcommit. He does need to pull them back as soon as he can here, and he does have some cannons ready to establish over here. SCVs are being pulled, and SCVs with the marines may be enough here. I'm going to really make sure that these cannons don't get pulled up here, and with these SCVs, these Marines are going to be able to pick off the rest of those very injured Zealots here, stop those cannons from being produced, and pick off both of those pylons. So super ghostly stuff from Kokanee. Not getting too worried about any of this. Getting that cybernetic score, one pylon at home. He does have a single gas here as well. So Defjam is slowly transitioning here. A command center being thrown up by Kokanee, as he is confident that he has survived now that he has firebacks. Medics will be out soon too. Double bunker. Going to throw down an additional barracks here too. So it looks like he's going to definitely try to do some counter pressure. That SCV did probably see that cybernetic score building, so he knows that he's not up against GTs and that his army now may be strong enough to just kill Zealots alone. Firebats, Marines, and tanks, all very good versus just that pure yellow. It's going to take out another pylon. These Zealots going to try to come in from the flank with the frontal attack here. A stim does go down, and without medics, this looks like it will be enough to deflect this. But you can see that the Terran player is up in workers, and he does have a command center, so he is transitioning into the later game a little bit better than Defjam, who is just still massing Zealots. Going to get that Citadel of the Dune, so I imagine he is going to get that Zealot legs here to try to continue the pressure. Now building some barracks at home, getting 3 more additional gas, so probably going to go and start going into the High Templars with droppage here. We'll see exactly how this pans out here. Another barracks coming down here, so 5 barracks here. The Zealots coming in once again here. Engineering Bay being thrown down now to stop. I guess you already have the Engineering Bay here to get the double upgrades now. The Zealots not doing very much here, kind of throwing them all away, and he still doesn't really have any kind of cannons up, so he is just going to totally rely on just ground units once again here. Don't think he picked off very many SCVs here. Feel like he does need to try to get some cannons up here. Kokanee is trying to establish a choke here, trying to get those turrets up so no DTs can run by. But now that these Marine medics are out in such high number of barracks, looks like Kokanee is going to be able to transition into that mid-game. And as the game gets later, like I said, I think it's only going to benefit the Terran player. That is why Defjam built 2 more additional gateways here at the middle. He really wanted to get some work done. Going to throw down a triple, at least on the side here, so he's going to be able to throw some cannons up top here. The nukes and tanks will be able to basically pick off most of this. Drops are going to be a big deal. No starport yet established. It looks like Kokanee is going to try to break him with just Marine tanks. Actually, maybe not now that he has established himself a choke. It looks like he's just going to try to transition into that later game. Taking out this machine shop. Probably going to build another command center as he does have some resources while starting up his turret defense. Starport just being started now. We're going to start seeing some turrets and a siege tank started here to make sure. He can probably pick off that Citadel of the Dune. We'll see if that Zealot speed leg, once that's upgraded, he doesn't really need it since he does have his Temple of Archives down. Going to transition into those storm drops, have 3 robotics facilities. Still no cannons at the front here, which I am a little bit worried about, but it doesn't look like the Terran is going to try to pressure out here. Going to put some firebats and Marines into these bunkers. Wall off. Add some bunkers, and it looks like our Terran player is comfortable going into the late game. Does have a 24 supply lead to him, and you're going to be able to start scanning and see exactly what he is up against. Defjam tanks. Defjam Citadel of the Dune looks like it is going to be able to complete that upgrade before it does get taken out by the siege tank. He is going to be vulnerable to drops, but it doesn't look like many drops are going to be put down here. We'll see if Kokanee goes right for those nukes. Nukes will be absolutely devastating in these positions. If you get the ghost range, you can target the nuke like right around this area, which absolutely hits the Marines. If you EMP that Nexus, it'll also be able to really do significant damage. I believe it does take 2 nukes with an EMP at this range to kill the Nexus if you do them in short enough time, not letting the Nexus regenerate its shield here. Dropship is going down, so Kokanee is going to try to drop. One cannon will not be enough to stop two tanks from sieging up. And at this point in the game, with a mid build failed, you are going to any probe losses will be significant. These dropships are loading up. It is going to be all full here. One High Templar, 4, 8, 12, 14 Zealots, and one High Templar with a Corsair. One tank does drop. Not going to get any kills unless it gets another shot off. No, it's actually one cannon is somehow going to be enough. If he did wait a little bit longer for that second tank, I feel like that could have been a deadly GGing drop here. Wouldn't mind seeing him just drop some Zealots at the top here, but he is going to try to go right in here. Now comes back here and does decide to just drop the Zealots here to just try to get some units up here. But all of his dropships are going to die as he did go back and forth here. A storm going to go down on some of these Marines, maybe lowering the numbers enough for these elves to be able to take them out, but with the reinforcements, I don't think that's going to happen. Going to pick off that storm, or the High Templar, which did get 6 kills here. And another drop is going to go in here. It does live, going to be able to drop both High Templars. He is at 70 SCVs, going to throw down a storm and get 11 SCVs there, not too bad. Very nicely done by Defjam, trying to use these spots as much of an advantage as he can here. We do see that gosu range and a nuke being built here. So Kokanee gonna go right for that nuke abuse. I love it. I love seeing nukes. And this is if you're ever gonna go for a nuke rush, these are the positions to do it, as you'll be able to take out that main in just a matter of time without even having to leave your base, just being able to abuse these spots here. Continuing to drop at the top here to try to clear as much space as possible and delay that turret mass as much as he can. But good job from Kokanee with all of these extra barracks having more than enough Marines to take care of business here. More Marines, medics being pumped out. It only has 3 factories, but we are still pretty early, especially with these nuke rush coming in here. A lot of his gas going towards that tech. Love these big gas upgraded things happening. Both players just kind of dropping each other. This looks like 2 Reavers, 2 High Templars, and 10 Zealots are going to come in here. And he does have a good turret defense here, all around. The problem going down the bottom is you're going to have to run into a lot of Marines. This dropship does scout these where the drop is coming in here. The SCVs are pulled here, going to drop in top of all of these Marine stimps here. I don't even see the Reaver. The Reaver was dropped. Both of the Reavers were dropped underneath that barracks. They're going to get taken out with those heavy DPS Marine stimmed units here. And Kokanee is completely comfortable, just turtling until nukes are out. And actually, what the fuck? How did I miss that? How did I miss that nuclear launch? We're going to have to reverse that with that little bit of laggy replay here. I did not even see that nuke go down here. He does have his ghost locked and loaded here, and as that storm goes down, we'll see if he does target that out here. The drop is going to land like we saw, and there we go. We do see the nuclear launch detected. I did just miss that while all that was happening, so he is going to be able to reach all the way over here. Defjam did see it too, so Defjam is even better than me. The nuclear launch detected is obviously out loud to everyone. Going to do only 250 damage, so that's why it is better to. It does take more than 2 nukes to kill that, I guess. A bunch of scans going to go down as well to check exactly how much damage he did, but even just pulling those probes, you can see the significance as it does. As his minerals are super low, and he has lost the supply lead and the worker count lead here. So we'll see if he's going to opt to build a nexus at some of these other bases to try to continue this into the late game. Of course, you don't need a main to win. It just helps a lot. The second nuke is being finished. He's just going to make 1 nuke at a time until he has enough minerals and resources to get some more nukes. He's just defending now. Going to slowly start building more barracks and more factories to establish his production. I'm just going to keep nuking right here. The second nuke coming down here. I would like to see an EMP so he can start actually hitting the HP of the Nexus here. Gonna drop down right on the Ghost. It looks like he was able to take out that Ghost here. Don't know how he spotted. Oh, I guess it wasn't even cloaked yet. He hasn't probably built cloak yet, as you technically don't really need cloak since you're nuking from your own base here. The other nuke getting built here. You can have two more command centers being built here. One with a comp stat. I imagine this next one may be a nuke, but even just having a bunch of command centers going to be able to allow you to kill off some of these supply depots, so they're not taking up all of your room in your base. He is building extra supply depot in his base right now, even though he does that 200 here. A little bit of a mistake here. I just heard a dropship get loaded up. Okay, that is the Protoss. Going to have I don't see a High Templar in there. Just a Zealot drop so far. I may be forgetting to build a High Templar, as I don't see one in any of these dropships here. Kokanee's third nuke is ready to go. Is going to nuke that. We'll see if he is going to continue to be able to pull his probe. He does not want to lose all of his 89 probes. There we go. We do see that EMP now going down, so these nukes are going to start doing some damage onto that Nexus. 200 damage down there. Killed a couple of probes. He was at 80, so probably like 13 probes, maybe 16 probes there also taken out here. A drop going to go in for Defjam. Defjam's time is running out here. These nukes are going to continue to drop all game long, and as the game goes on, he's going to be able to build more nuclear silos. Right now, he's just continually building on one, but if he can get 3 or 4 nukes going, he is going to be able to take that main out, especially with that EMP upgraded done. Now, big drop for Defjam. Going to run into a lot of Marines here. Going to drop a little bit of a delayed drop, some DTs and Zealots. No High Templars were able to land. The Zealots, or the SCVs, are pulled to safety. And once again, Defjam is going to tap out a little bit earlier than I would like. He's not completely dead, but he does foresee this just not working out for him in these positions, and is going to tap out, and Kokanee is going to take the 2-1 lead here. So well done by Kokanee, playing that very nicely done. Nice and safe, nice and secure, and is going to get himself a win. We'll jump into game number 4. Hey, game number 4. Defjam going to be Protoss versus Kokanee's Terran once again. And it's going to be a reverse of positions, but the same races. So we'll see how Kokanee does in this bottom position versus the Protoss directly on top of him. We'll see what kind of adjustments he can make. Hopefully he's building his command centers over here if he does scout it soon enough. I imagine he is going to be able to scout the Protoss before he is confident enough to get his command center, as Kokanee is known for doing a lot of one command center builds if he does see the opportunity to kill his opponent. He could throw down that triple though if he does see and try to get into that late game, maybe ledge his Protoss. But as of right now, he is going for a very aggressive gateway. Now this is good versus the very common Nexus first versus Protoss players, which a lot of Protoss are doing, but it also is known to kill Zerg players right here. If you can get this double barracks up versus a hatchery first Zerg, you can also do hella damage. He is going to be up versus that Nexus first, so he is going to be able to apply a lot of pressure regardless of what race it is. This does slow his economy down for the mid and later games significantly, as he is having 4 of his 10 SCVs out doing something, only collecting with 6 SCVs. This will be enough to macro off of 2 barracks, possibly 3 barracks, and luckily for him, he is going to scout his opponent, which is going for that gateway forge Nexus first, going to try to establish that choke, but he may think twice now that he has been scouted so early. I don't think he's going to be able to get that scout off. Going to throw down a second gateway to try to react to this. He does not want this bunker to get up, so he does have to pull at least 3 probes to make sure this bunker doesn't get up. Going to try to get this choke up, pulling another 2 SCVs, 4 SCVs, and he's going to start rallying these Marines up here. So he's going to be able to apply a lot of pressure before this barracks is even close to finishing. We are going to see these SCVs being able to battle versus these probes very nicely. 4 SCVs right now versus 3 probes, so it's going to be up to Defjam to make sure this bunker doesn't go up. Takes out 1 SCV now, but with the SCVs and the Marine here, it's going to be tough here. It does pull the Marine stack, or pull the probes here, stacked here, but it is targeting though that drone here. While these Marines micro nicely around, the first Zealot is out. He does not have the money to establish much more Zealots, but 1 cannon may get up here, and that may save him. But meanwhile, while all that is happening, I didn't even see that a bunker does get up in the top here. 1 Marine does get in here, and a couple of Marines are reinforcing, so this is going to do a lot of damage to Defjam here. Defjam is able to take out that bunker, but he is down to 5 probes here. The probes and Zealots are fighting. This cannon is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but that could be just enough damage that Kokanee needs, as Kokanee is up to 13 workers versus 4 workers. Going to pull even his last 2 workers down. Not going to overcommit once again, as he knows he's done a significant amount of damage to Defjam with that little bunker attack there. Working it very nicely for him, as he was able to scout him in that first position. Going to throw up a bunker at the choke here. Not going to let the Terran or the Protoss establish any kind of choke. Also going to act as a little bit of a funnel for those SCVs, and a little bit of a space for those Marines to micro around here. These Marines should be able to at least target these 2 gateways. Maybe not this top one, as the cannons do have good range unless that Marine range gets up. He does have a gas. Going to probably throw up a factory soon here, but these Marines also are going to be able to run back here, and any probe kills they get right now is going to be huge right here. Even if they do, yeah, they're going to be in range of both of these probes here. Going to have to pull these probes back, and going to have to deal with these Marines here before he can start collecting here. Going to stack these Marines once again, and going to smartly choose to just attack and trade these Marines for workers. Luckily for Defjam, he does pull those workers back, but he is at 7 probes versus 19 Marines. He, of course, isn't dead yet, but the Terran is starting to push slowly forward with these bunkers. Does have a factory back at home, going to produce Marines non-stop out of those barracks. Good job picking off these SCVs to slow down this bunker push, as once these bunkers get close enough, he is just going to be in a really, really tough spot. Luckily for Defjam, he does have a double nexus, so he is going to be able to produce a lot of probes. But these SCVs are going to come back out here and start rebuilding the bunkers, and I think it's just a matter of time before Defjam is going to be out of luck here, as Kokanee's bunker rush attack has done more than enough damage. Cannons are pretty good versus bunker, so if he's able to get a couple cannons out here, maybe he can prevent this, but the back of his base is still really vulnerable to some Marine run-bys on the back here, especially when this tank comes. The tank, I don't know if we're going to have an answer to the tank covered by all these bunkers. These bunkers spread out very nicely by the Terran player. Maybe a little too aggressive there. He did want to get that up, and if it was up, it may have been nice there, but Defjam going to deny that. Back up to 18 probes, so he is working his way back into this game. If he can survive long enough, and maybe Kokanee overcommits to this push, he may have himself a chance, but these bunkers are getting really close, and that's a lot of bunkers, so this just isn't going to be fun to deal with here. Marine range also being upgraded, so Marine range plus the range that they get in the bunkers may be able to start reaching these gateways here, and out ranging the cannons here. Going to smartly move forward and try to pick off this cannon here. Does not want to battle a cannon without medics or tanks here, but building more bunkers, and there we go. With the range and that bunker, they now are in range of these gateways, and killing one gateway is going to be 1/3 of the production that the Protoss player has. Forced to build more cannons. Does have his cybernetics core up here, so going to try to tech out of this. Kokanee still just on his single nexus here, producing Marines and tanks non-stop, getting his double factory out. Vulnerable to DTs, but with that Cybernetics core being up just now, he'll have more than enough time to get in that. And now that this tank's up here, it is going to be tough to hold on to here. This tank is going to be able to pick off all these cannons. All the production here is going to be vulnerable. And yeah, Defjam's going to be in a world of hurt here. Not sure exactly what he can even do to hold on here. Looks like it's going to be a Citadel of a Dune and a Massmore Gateway. So it looks like it's probably going to be Zealot Speed. Maybe DT's High Templar is going to be what his strategy is to back this up. Stim being upgraded here. But these tanks are now slowly chipping away at this last little bit of defense before he's going to be able to be in range of these workers here and that nexus. He's trying to Defjam trying to pile up as many zealots as he can, getting as many gateways as he can. Now that he does have a pretty good probe count, depending or considering how much he lost here. If he didn't lose that many probes at the beginning, he would have a lot bigger mass than he does now. Still may not be able to deal with this many bunkers, but it would be a lot closer. Still have a Doom going to instantly start that zealot, but this tank is going to be now in range of those probes. Going to shoot around 4 probes down there. These zealots do have to engage now, picking off another 10 or so there. Tank still staying alive, still being able to get shots off. Pulling these Marines back into the bunker. Some turrets going down just in case there is DTs, and Kokanee is going to go up, what is that, 3-1 now and be on game point versus Defjam in a very impressive bunker rush build, making quick work of Defjam starting up his command center. Continue to build depots back at home. Very solid build by Kokanee, being slow and methodical bunker push to take that win versus Defjam. And now he is on match point. Defjam has to win the rest of the games. Otherwise, we are going to see a Scan versus Kokanee rematch in the finals. Kokanee looking to defend his title and win back-to-back Tournament of Titans and prove to the world that Koreans are not the best StarCraft fastest players in the world. Canada still is that #1 spot, but Defjam, we'll see if he has anything to say to that in this next game. We have Defjam Protoss yet again, so Defjam definitely getting some good races here. I think you'd almost prefer Terran at this point, though, as his Terran is probably the best, at least what we've seen so far. He has been having a little bit of bad luck, but you can't just quite say that, because Kokanee is a beast of a player, and he does like to capitalize on any kind of information that he gets that will leave you vulnerable. So we do have Protoss versus Terran yet again. We'll see what Kokanee decides to do, if he's going to build a little bit more standard barracks in his base here. Not going to go for those aggressive frontal choke barracks here. Going to get that depot here, so that is a sign that he's going to build barracks back here. See exactly what he decides to do versus this Terran player. He is in a middle spot, so I imagine he doesn't want to keep this into a late game, maybe aggressive here. Looks like Defjam not too worried, going to go for his Nexus first build here. No, maybe not. Going to throw down a gateway, double gateway. Okay, maybe not. Possibly going to go for the 4 gateway. If he builds, yeah, I think he's going to go for the 4 gateway build. Maybe the 3 into gas. You can even get 2 gateways into Nexus. A lot of different options just depending on exactly what you want to do. Not scouting though, so this leads me to believe he wants a couple of extra gateways because you want all the extra income you can get. 1 extra probe can significantly change your income in these early games, especially the aggressive 4 gateway, but of course it's going to be at the cost of not being able to scout your opponent right away. 3 barracks here for Kokanee. He's probably going to get a gas soon, as he's scouting with that first SCV after the barracks. Going to rally the Marine up around 2. We'll see how early these 2 find each other. Fortunately for Defjam, he is going in the correct position. Kokanee going for that classic cross map scout, as he does want to make sure that he's not up against a mid build, because if you are up against a mid build, you do have to change your build accordingly. Do you see that gas going down, that depot? Going to see that academy, I'm sure, down soon here. Did just cross paths here, I do believe, and they are going to know exactly what they are up against. So we will see exactly what the plans are. Kokanee, if he does see a Protoss, he does have to imagine that he is up against a Nexus first here. The Protoss going to throw 2 Zealots randomly up in that left position, just in case that the Marine did come, or the SCV did come from that top left corner and was just going side to side. Unfortunately for him, it was going across the map. The probe continuing to scout. These zealots are going to realize they were in the wrong position. Going to send 2 more zealots down here. Kokanee is going to retreat from his choke here. Also going to be able to scout his opponent here. There is a fairly quick cybernetics core, so that could be Dragoons, as there is only 1 gas here. Also could just be that Citadel of Adun for those quick zealot speed legs here. Kokanee reacting with a bunker back at home. Really wants to keep all of these Marines alive while also not allowing the Protoss to establish any pylons or cannons inside of his base or outside of his choke here. Defjam, not even building a forge though, so not even thinking about it. We do have that first engagement. A lot of Marines targeting that first Zealot down. Going to get him down to 22 HP here as he retreats with his brethrens back at home here. He does cancel that supply depot in that random position and throws a factory back at home. His academy has just started now, so he is going to have a safe factory here. The zealots are going to move in here, 49 supply to 42 supply. Going to run back to their bunker for some safety and going to get as many shots off as he can. Defjam going to try to establish a cannon barrier at the choke so the Terran can't get that choke, so he can mass here. Do see a very quick robotics facility in the Citadel of Adun, so maybe he's just going straight for that storm drop. He does only have a single gas, so I don't know if he's going to have the gas count for that. But this battle at the front is continuing. He's building another bunker just in range of his second bunker while that first cannon does establish. Does need to continue to get as many shots off as he can on these zealots. These zealots don't want to overcommit, so they run backwards, but they do take a significant damage here. The Marines again poking forward now that they do have more reinforcements to run back to and a bunker. It is going to try to keep on getting as many shots off as they can, weakening these Marines. Or weakening these zealots' shield. Another bunker going to go down here. Does not want to die. Does have his factory up and going with his starport completed. So he is macroing back at home, or teching back at home. Not macroing back at home. He is macroing, but teching back at home here. He's only 2 supply down here, only 1 worker supply down here, so he is in a great position. But while this is all happening, Defjam has a Nexus and is teching into the drop tech here. Does have that robo for the shuttle speed and that High Templar Archive soon being done. While he does wait for that Templar Archive to complete, he is going to get a Reaver and attempt a Reaver drop, and this could do crazy damage to Defjam if Defjam is not ready for it. This is going to be a very early drop, around a 6:30 drop here, maybe earlier than that. And if Kokanee is out of position, he could take some very big damage here. Throwing up some more bunkers and accidentally killing one of his own Marines there. That is a little bit of a... Oh, maybe he's doing that on purpose since he is supply stuck. He is supply stuck and he wanted to get that... I don't know what he wanted to do. He definitely did that on purpose though, because yeah, he was supply stuck. Maybe that second tank out. I'm not exactly sure why he did that. Probably for that second tank. But I feel like that tank was started before he killed that. Either way, he did do that on purpose. The first one may have been a mistake, but that second one definitely cleared supply for a 2 supply unit. Gonna have this first tank up, and this tank is going to be in range of starting taking out that choke for the Protoss player. Throwing down a second factory, his command center, and a bunker back at home here. This tank drop could be deadly as there is only 1 cannon back at home. I don't see where the Protoss drop is. The Protoss drop is over here. So they are going to kind of be dropping each other at the same time. We'll see how this goes. 37 probes. 1 tank is going to siege up. Going to kill a lot of workers there. Over 15 workers there. And going to absolutely be worth it. This 1 tank luckily is his saving grace, and those Reaver attack is going to have to do damage if he wants to stay in this game without having a huge handicap. An instant pull from our Terran player. The Reaver is looking like he's going to get some kills, but not as many as that that tank drop got, going to target as much as he can, but these Marines do get in that bunker, and that is going to be the end of that. So players down to 21 probe to 25 SCVs. Kokanee probably has taken the lead, even though he is down one supply here. The next High Templar drop is going to be out soon, but we do see another tank drop for Kokanee. Kokanee going to capitalize on only that single cannon defense here by our Protoss player. Going to run right into there. Does have a scan just in case he does need it. Before it goes, the scan does go down, so he's going to be able to target those probes if they do decide to run out of the range. And another big shot, 6 probes, 18 probes down. So again, Defjam is going to get devastated by these drops here, and he's going to have to rely on this counter pressure to do something, as Kokanee is just picking him apart at this moment here, playing some amazing Terran versus Protoss here. Going to even keep that dropship alive here. The drop coming in for the Protoss player is going to have to do significant damage, as Kokanee is almost double the worker count now. This early in the game is not what you want as a Protoss player. This drop is going to come in here. It does have to get some kills. If it does not get some kills, Kokanee will be at a significant advantage. But if it does get some kills, he can even this game up very easily and bring it into the mid to late game. Going to drop right now. Going to not get that many kills. Maybe one kill there, but it's going to injure all of them. SCVs are pretty strong, so a pretty good drop here. But not what he needed. The second drop could come in here. Medics are healing up these SCVs and going to try to keep it alive here, but right now it is tough. Tough position for Mr. Defjam. Another drop coming in for both players here. Both players are going to be trying to drop each other. The benefit of Terran is you can scan exactly where you're going to go here, what the best location is. Of the Protoss kind of has to guess where to go. Going to run into this turret and a bunch of Marines that are going to be able to pick that off. Taking the long way around here, making sure he doesn't get spotted. Continuing to opt for just 4 Marines and a tank here, but just one cannon here in the top right position, and that looks like that is where he is going to go. And if he can get another pop shot off on these probes, he is just going to, again, delay that Protoss so much here. He does have a scan if he does want to scan. Sometimes you can scan right as you drop here. Going to drop a couple of Marines. Going to drop that tank a little too forward, though. Not where he wanted to do it. He should have dropped it a little bit farther back, and definitely would have been able to get a shot off. But unfortunately, he does drop it a little bit too far forward, where these couple of cannons can't get him. And that is unfortunate, since he did take such a long path to get there. But he's already done significant damage to the Protoss player here. Going to get that third command center up and slowly have that bank to start massing up those factories. You can see the Protoss is back into the Dark Ages after losing so many probes here. Hasn't built in a single additional gateway. Going to be so below his pylon count here. Just going to be a tough spot altogether. These tanks are pushing forward. A couple of scans going down. Defjam just does not have very much. Going to rely on 5 barracks to defend versus Kokanee, who is probably going to be able to push here. He did lift one of his 3 barracks, but he does have 2 factories. And he does have the minerals to start massing up more factories or barracks, whatever he so chooses to do here. Pushing out of his base now, it is going to be up to the Protoss to defend this. He may need some of these High Templars to defend us. He just does not have a choke here. Scans going down. Kokanee knows this, as he has all the information in the world that he needs. And this attack could be problematic. Not as many medics as he may like, but he is pulling these SCVs to be able to start pulling some bunkers up and turrets up, so he doesn't overcommit to this. But the Zealots Swift Speed are going to come in here. Not all of the Terran army together, but it is still going to trade fairly well and take out all of that Protoss army. He now has nearly a 30 supply lead. And with these bunkers, it's only going to be worse now that he is in that Protoss choking space. And drop did go down here and is going to kill 30 or so SCVs there. I did miss that. We might as well rewind it just a little bit so we can see that. While it does the slow rewind, we do see the drop here. This is the drop that did it. We'll just make sure we keep an eye on that. We did see all of the shenanigans while these turrets build. He is up to 53 SCVs to 57, so Kokanee has just been totally focusing on his SCVs. The drop does come in, one storm does go down and kills 28 SCVs, so that's a big time hit for BRB, aka Defjam, but could it be too little too late, as he is in some big trouble? He has to win this game or else Defjam is going to advance versus Scan. DT's popping out, but we do have turrets, bunkers, and siege tanks here. And this is going to be tough to break here, especially with the lack of production that the Protoss has since he took so much damage from those tank drops. Those tank drops absolutely devastating to the Protoss economy, especially when you are going the 4 gateway and not a Nexus first build. You just have to invest in the extra Nexus, in all those extra probes, while you could be building some better units. Not the most production from Kokanee, but Kokanee has been building non-stop, and he is having with the addition of these bunkers and turrets, he is so close to this Nexus. This tank trying to inch as close as he can here, maybe a little too overzealous there, but he still does get a shot off there and takes out half of the workers from Defjam. Very gosu stuff from Kokanee. Getting that shot off just in time before that tank falls down. 2 more siege tanks may actually be in range if he does scan here, but either way, he's going to be able to take out these cannons before these cells are able to stack up high enough. Trying to macro himself out of this since he does have, or he did have, the probe count to start being able to macro well, but this is going to be a lot to deal with. He's going to have to somehow get all of his probes out of here too, as his second tank starts sieging up in range. If he's 1 scan away from being able to take that all out, the zealots are just enough to kill those tanks, but more and more tanks are in here. Just so many tanks here, so many marines here, and it looks like Kokanee is going to be able to take this. He is 1 tank shot away from winning, possibly not even having to do that, as there is just going to be too much and too little too late. Defjam trying to do what he can, but yeah, those tank drops were absolutely devastating, and it does look like Kokanee is going to be able to do this. This tank right going to be in range. Just 1 shot away. If one of these tanks get here, I feel like all Kokanee has to do is scan there, and he will 100%. There we go, right there. 31 probes dead, and yeah, Defjam down to 6 workers, and Kokanee gonna make quick work. I thought both of these series would be a lot closer than they were, but Kokanee just destroying Defjam, Scan just destroying JH, and we are gonna have possibly one of the most gosu finals we've ever had in our entire lives here. Kokanee playing out of his mind versus Scan, who's playing out of his mind. And we are going, yeah, those two are going to meet in the finals of a rematch of the last tournament's semifinals. And it should be a good one. I cannot wait to see how that plays out here, as both players just playing above and beyond the competition. By far, the 2 best players are meeting. Both players overcoming their semifinal opponents without having to have the matchups to do it. Winning with the Zerg and Terran against the Protosses, killing lots of Protosses. Both players very impressed by it. Kokanee going to advance fairly easily. 2 Terran versus Protosses in a row. Gosu stuff. And yeah, we're going to have ourselves a great finals. Let's put up those brackets right now. We'll put up those brackets, and we have ourselves our finals. Our final match has been established. After all of these gosu games, Saturday will be the finals. I'm going to live cast it. I may not live stream it because I don't want to lag up the game, but we'll see how the internet connection is. We'll see what the TR turn rate is, and yeah, we'll see what's going to go on. But yeah, we'll be casting that Friday regardless, whether it's live or whether I just watch the replays and cast it afterwards. But yeah, we're going to have Kokanee, the Korean Slayer, versus Scan, also the Korean Slayer, because he just slayed JH. It's going to be the Korean versus the Canadian. We're going to have an epic finals. I think I predicted JH versus fucking Kokanee, but Scan versus Kokanee, and I predicted Kokanee to win. I'm sticking with it. I think Kokanee is going to defeat Scan. Even though Scan's playing out of his mind, I think he'll be able to do it. I believe in my boy Kokanee. Canada represent. GG's, and we will see you guys in the finals. Very gosu semifinals, crazy stuff. Very impressed with this series. GG, guys, and we'll see you in the finals. GG.